Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calling here in Las Vegas. I'm Tanner Grace. That's Red Zone Rogue. He's excited to move into the semifinals here, and so am I. Let's take a look at this bracket that we got going on. So we take a look at what's happened here in this top 8, and you know what? We had to have one of the Chanes make it through in that first matchup there, and that's Zachary Burrell with the upset, number 8 beating the number 1 seed.
Yeah, really spicy.
Yeah, in the second match, this is one of the matches we got to watch here on camera from its start to finish, and look, Alberto had a great run this weekend, but no real surprise here. I thought Tyler was going to win this match on the back of Spectral Shields, and it seemed like that's actually what happened. So Tyler got through.
Really tough for Dash
right.
there.
He's going to be playing against Zachary Burrell. We're going to try to get as much of that match on camera as we can, because the one that you're going to be watching down here is going to be between Sebastiano and Dante Delfico. It's going to be the Chane mirror, and Dante was one of my picks to win this weekend. An absolute monster from up north, from the Great White North. One of the best players, widely considered the best player in Canada, considered one of the better Chane players. He's the one you're going to see really counting his deck as much as he can. He's going to be paying a lot of attention to making sure that bottom of the deck is great. You're not going to see it that much or being that important in this matchup, though.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Chane versus Chane. Just, you know, we got some Rune Blade action, attacks flying left and right.
Yeah, you can sort of see the list here, and like we kind of jumped into one right there. We got to get the last few minutes of that Chane mirror earlier, and you kind of saw what we're talking about. They were on Rune Chant 4.
Yeah,
when that game was in. They were at 7 and 6 when we joined in the game. So I don't expect to see too many huge attacks on turn 1 or 2.
Probably not.
But as soon as turns 3 and 4, there's going to be very large attacks, and you're not going to see. I've heard a lot of people talking about the Chane mirror, and they say that you're pretty much never supposed to block, because once you're blocking, you're pretty much admitting defeat.
Yep, you want to be the aggro. And regardless of what your opponent's doing.
Yeah, and you're going to see the reason here is, again, you've heard me talk about this is going to be like 2 ships passing in the night.
Yep.
Both of these guys are going to be just trying to goldfish each other. If you haven't heard that phrase before, it usually means I'm just going to be trying to doing as much that I can do in my turn and not really care about what's going on the other side. Obviously, you're going to be like paying a little attention to how much blood that they have, how much reach they can have, what they can do, but we're going to have to see what they do here. So Sebastiano versus Dante Delfico. Let's go ahead and move on down to the match, and let's get this Chane mirror started.
Yeah, let's do this.
It didn't really get on camera here, but I just saw a nice little handshake before the two competitors here. Love to see that, you know, little mutual respect between the two. And let's just have a really good game.
Yeah, this is going to be a really exciting one here.
Buckle in. This one's going to be fast, I think.
One interesting thing right off the bat, we have an ebb and fold for equipment from Dante and that headpiece instead of the Arcanite Skullcap.
Now, do you have any reasoning behind that? Is there anything that you know of? Because I'm not super versed in Chane mirror. Is there a reason to have this one instead of the other one?
I mean, it does have that that Spell Void. So, you know, it can come up, preventing some arcane damage here. Like with an attack like this Vexing Mouse, for example. It's going to be dealing 2 arcane damage and coming in for, you know, some other damage here, like 1.
Right, and is that one of the ones where you don't have to spend resources to make it happen?
It's just like 2 arcane damage coming in. Yeah.
Right, and we're being told that life totals are going to be messed up for the first minute or 2 here, so they will catch up. We'll try to keep up as much as we can, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit of attack here from Dante. The names need to be inverted here, too. I think that's what might have possibly happened. Dante's on the bottom. Sebastiano is on the top, but we do have a rune chant being made as well here. Actually, oh, maybe we do have it right. Maybe the pictures are wrong because I see him flicking the cards around. All right, we'll try to get this straightened out just a little bit here.
In any case, I think Dante's going to want to have a pretty aggressive turn coming into this, making that that Soul Shackle right off the bat. Considering, oh well, here we go.
I'm talking about maybe
Lightning Strike.
I'm talking about maybe not too many big attacks on turn 1. I was definitely wrong. This isn't a Lightning Strike coming in. It looks like we might have picked Go again.
Probably. I mean, that Soul Shackle is not going to give this on Lightning Strike Go again. It is not a Rune Blade or Shadow attack.
And since it's a little early, we're going to see Dante doing some blocking here for sure, protecting the life total from that huge attack early.
We have an Arsenal and draw up.
It looks like a pass.
Ooh, I see some really good stuff in that draw. Got that Art of War, definitely setting up for a potential excellent future turn here.
All right, so we're going back to Dante. He's got an Arsenal card here, 2 cards to play with, and 1 Rune Chant. It was a miss.
Ooh,
here.
Shadow Puppetry.
Yeah, start this turn off with the Shadow Puppetry from Arsenal here. It's going to have Go again.
So +1 Go again on this Bounding Demagon. So it's going to be coming in for 5 with Go again. And a pretty decent on-hit effect.
Yep.
It's going to allow him to look at the top card of his deck and choose whether or not he wants to banish it.
Yep.
Could be a you know, almost the same as drawing a card.
Trying to figure out what to do with his last card here. You know, maybe want to play it, maybe get some resources.
Oop, so it looks like it is going to hit.
It's going to trigger the Shadow Puppetry.
Oh, interesting. He's debating whether or not. Looks like it's just going to stay on top there.
That's a card it looks like he definitely wants to have in his hand. Okay.
What he's going to do. I mean, we still see that Art of War in the other hand, and that means we're going to have a pretty nice turn coming up, which is probably why he didn't want to block at all. He wanted to save those, you know, those cards for an excellent Art of War turn.
Now, is that an ideal start in this kind of matchup where you have an Enlightened Strike on turn 1 followed up with a possible Art of War as early as turn 2?
And I mean, just getting those cards played too, so you don't, you know, banish them later on with your Soul Shackles. It's really what you want to see here. You want those cards to be played, and you want the excellent banish cards with the Blood Debt that you want to see later in the game.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to banish the top card of the deck. This looks like a Rift Bind. We're going to activate the Soul Shackle here. The Rune Chant's going to go away because that got triggered a little bit earlier.
And this Bounty Demagon did have Go again.
And this is something you're going to normally see from Dante, which I kind of like from a lot of my Chane players. He's going to be really deliberate with a lot of his plays. He's going to take his time. He's going to take some Blood Debt damage here because, hey, you don't really need to attack anymore this turn. Going to set up some stuff in the future. So speaking of future setups, we see an Arsenal card there in that Rift Bind. So he's going to have access to both of those cards next turn as well. But this might be the start of a pretty big turn here.
Yeah, didn't get a good hit off of that Soul Shackle, just banishing that Flock of the Featherwalkers. Not really going to do much there.
And I think that's actually something we didn't really point out. That's actually one of the biggest differences here is Dante and his testing group don't play Flock of the Featherwalkers in their deck. Yeah. They are actually off that card. They don't like it as much as other people. That's an interesting point to talk about this weekend, and afterwards, you know, if he wins or not, he might be validated, but if he ends up losing to something like Flock of the Featherwalkers, then maybe the conversation needs to come back up.
Yeah, for sure. We did see this Art of War play here. Saw that banished. He did the draw 2 here. I see a Command and Conquer in hand and some Tremors of Irathiel there. Not a ton of Runeblade or Shadow cards, but pretty good stuff nonetheless.
Did you say there's a Command and Conquer in his hand?
There is indeed a Command and Conquer in hand.
This is a heck of a draw here from Sebastiano these first couple turns. Go ahead and tell us a little about this card. This is one that we don't see all the time.
So Tremor is a card that attacks pretty efficiently, but if you've banished a card this turn, which he has, gets pumped up. And it's coming in for a decent amount of damage here. We're not 100% sure what the modes are for Art of War. Definitely drew some cards. We're not sure if this is Go Again or +1. But in any case, this is still a fairly threatening attack.
Yeah, this might be Go Again. Generally, the +1 is represented by a die, but we're not sure about that. But if a Go Again would make sense here because you're threatening a pretty big attack, and maybe Dante might want to block here, and he doesn't know that one of the worst-case scenarios of Command and Conquer is coming behind this, and it might be threatening that Arsenal card.
Yeah, he still has Command and Conquer and another Tremor in his hand, so definitely enough resources to play it. Do we know what card that he put in his arsenal?
That one I did not catch.
We got a mystery card in the arsenal.
The players have been very, very good about keeping it away from me this weekend.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We did get a Chane activation just to get that Soul Shackle up, and as you guessed it, Command and Conquer coming in.
Yeah, another Tremors pitched here for a few more resources. It looks like we're going to get a double block from Dante here. And this is kind of funny. This is a really quick double block. I always feel like he kind of saw this coming, that there was a big attack. Because like, the resources were floating. The way this is working out, you know, kind of like, I'm going to attack you with a big threat first. If you block anything, then this is probably going to get through. But it felt like Dante might have sniffed this one out a little bit there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, looks like we're going to banish 2 here.
Another Art of War in hand.
These have not been very good banishes for Dante.
100% whiff.
Yeah, you might be seeing a little bit of the variants getting to him here early in the game. We're seeing some very powerful plays from Sebastiano, and Dante is kind of still trying to find his footing here.
Yeah, you don't want to see it. You really don't. Shadow Puppetry is a good way to start the turn, though. Shadow Puppetry from Arsenal. It's going to give +1 and Go Again to this Rift Bind, which will get an extra +1 since it is being played from the Banish Zone.
Yeah, I believe that's a 2-powered Rift Bind, so it is going to get up that little bit of power extra here.
Coming in for 4 total with a couple resources floating. Can threaten Nebula Blade on the back end. A non-attack action has been played, so it would be coming in for 4.
Absolutely. So we're going to see another check here for the Shadow Puppetry, something to banish.
It's a pretty good hit off of the Shadow Puppetry.
So at least his banishes off of the Shadow Puppetries have been good for Dante here. He's not falling super far behind on that front.
He's very comfortable just coming in with that Ghostly Visit for 4.
Yeah, here another big attack here. This does have Go Again, and there's still a resource floating, so this could be one of the triple, big attack turns for Dante.
Let's see if Sebastiano wants to commit any cards from hand to this, or if he just wants to save them to bring the pressure back. Looks like he's really considering it too. You know, it's something to be said here. It's something you really want to think about. You know, do you want to be on the maximum, you know, aggressive side, or here we have the Nebula Blade.
Yeah, and it does look like that 4 came fully in. We got 20. Yeah. Sebastiano down to 24 already. And here's the Nebula Blade, not only threatening some damage, but a Rune Chant token as well.
Oh, for sure.
Can't be overstated how important that can be. And like we said, you know, we kind of warned you guys, this is going to be pretty aggressive. It's going to be pretty fast. I mean, we're only on the 3rd Soul Shackle. We're seeing about half of life totals gone here for the players.
This arcane damage, if he's able to create this Rune Chant token, is going to be pretty big. And it looks like it's going to hit and make that Rune Chant token.
Yeah, it may only sound like 1 damage. It would be pretty impactful, and there's a lot of triggers that can come off of it. Every little thing helps and stuff as well. Lots of important things to go with these Rune Chant tokens.
Yeah, and Sebastiano only has that Ebb and Full to prevent that damage.
Oh, and a painful banish here. Set up tree into Art of War, so...
We've not had a lot of good Soul Shackle triggers this game, I would say.
To be fair, we've only had the low ones, though, right?
Exactly.
And so we start getting into these turns of 3 and 4. Now we start hitting at 50%, 60%. You start getting multiple. How many Art of Wars are in this guy's deck?
This is the 3rd one.
Yeah. I mean, you can see all 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, he's making. Oh, here we go. Dante's like, look,
I love it.
You've gotten to play 3 of them already. I haven't even seen 1.
Yeah. Well, now he knows. All the Art of Wars are gone.
Yep. I guess it's something you don't. I guess that is something good. You don't have to play around it later in this game, but you'd be better off of having. Hopefully, those get banished away.
Yeah, for sure. So we haven't seen which card he's going to choose to banish yet. Hopefully, he's going to choose something that he can play, but it looks like he's thinking about it a little bit. Definitely.
Looks like it might. Yeah, it looks like it might have been another go again, possibly.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I wonder what we're on to here. All right, we're down to 1 resource, and this looks like we got an attack out of the bandage zone here.
Yeah, we have a Seeds of Agony into an Unhallowed Rites. It's going to let him pick a card from his discard pile. Looks like he doesn't have any targets.
Right, nothing just yet. I mean, you'd love to be able to put another Seeds of Agony in the bottom of your deck, but here's the thing. It's probably not going to matter in this matchup.
Yeah,
this game's not going another 3 or 4 turns, I don't think.
I mean, life total's already 20 to 31.
Yeah, I mean, for all the good draws that Sebastiano's had this game and all the good attacks, I mean, you see Dante's already up to 31. Now, I would say that Sebastiano, when he's already down to what, about 20 here, you've got to believe this Husk is coming out real soon.
Oh, yeah. I would not be surprised.
The next big attack is definitely something that we've been coining. It's Huskable.
Huskable, yeah. That's a Huskable attack.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you get some value off that before you get too low and it just gets itself removed and you start taking blood debt there. So
see how Dante's going to defend this, or if he's just going to end up taking it.
Yeah, and you were talking about this too, like, you know, if you're going to defend or not, and I will say this, if you're blocking a lot, then you feel like you're losing. If you're blocking 1 card, it doesn't always feel the worst.
We have a Ebb and Fold activation here. He's going to be able to basically swap a card from his hand. Let's see if he got anything worthwhile.
Yeah, just to finish my thought there, it's not that bad to block with like 1 card or 2 if you have to sometimes, because depending on how many cards you're removing, those are going to be the cards in your hand. And as long as you can keep yourself to where you have about 2 resource points on the turn, you can still have a very large turn with casting multiple spells because everything costs so little.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we have another Seeds of Agony. He's looking to string together a pretty big turn here. We have a Chane activation.
Yeah, Soul Shackle token.
This will have go again, which means that he's definitely planning for multiple attacks.
All right, so this is getting pumped by 3 for the cards that are in play.
Pumped by 2.
Okay, yeah, sorry, 2.
But it's still not nothing. It's still a decently threatening attack coming in.
Yep, looks like Dante is going to take this. So I think the life total is going to be close to evenish here. Sebastiano being at 20.
This attack has go again, so he's going to be coming in with something else. 2 resources floating, card in hand, card in arsenal. We can see anything from a Nebula Blade to that card in arsenal. He's got a lot of options here. Yeah, it looks like they're maybe discussing with the judge a little bit.
Absolutely. So we were wondering what's going to be happening here. Dante, if another attack comes in, yeah, it looks like he's going to be taking the damage here. That's something that they were talking about. I wonder if there's going to be some blocking going here. Here comes that Nebula Blade, kind of like you mentioned.
Yeah, it's a really good attack. Just coming in for 4, threatening that Rune Chant. Going to force some blocks.
Yep, and the first piece of equipment is going to get into the battle chain here.
Yep, you really want to see it.
Yep. So it looks like a Rift Blind is going to go to the discard pile here. There is a Rune Chant token for this turn, so don't forget there's a little bit of extra damage that's going to be happening.
We're now up to Soul Shackle 3.
That is
Ooh, do not want to see the Soul Reaping.
Soul Reaping gone, but we did get 2 other cards that can be cast from Banish here.
We have is that a Seeds of Agony
think it's
and
Seeds
an
of Agony,
Invert
yes.
Existence. We've seen a lot of damage with Invert Existence.
Yeah, it's
in
just
this
a
calling.
decent enough card in the mirror that you're generally going to have the 2 targets that you want in the discard pile.
Sure.
It's also having multiple instances of dealing Arcane, and we saw it in the last game. It's good enough to finish people off in instant speed.
Oh, for sure.
As well.
And to know that Sebastiano now has no way to prevent Arcane damage.
Yeah, that's
it's
a big
just
point too.
3 damage at this point. So the Seeds is gonna, inevitably be coming in for 1. See if Dante can string together a very large turn here. Didn't get that lucky with the Soul Shackles.
I like alliteration a lot, so I like the idea of deliberate Dante Delfico.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty apt moniker for him.
What do you think, Twitch chat? Do you think that's going to catch on? Probably not, right? But
It might.
you never know.
So we have an Unhallowed Rites coming from Banish Zone. It's coming in for 4, and the Rune Chant and the Arcane damage from the Seeds of Agony. And that chip damage is really going to add up.
Yeah, and we got to wonder, we're getting to the point now, we talked about this last turn, it's like, when is this Husk going to come out? Do you think there's going to be a bigger attack coming next turn? Because here we go, we got Grasp of the Arcanine coming in to get a little block in.
Yeah, choosing a block with his Grasps here, and only the Grasps it looks like. So blocking 2, he'll take 2.
Yep, down to 18.
Dante still
hold on.
has some options here.
Like those are getting updated a little bit, it looks like.
It looks like they've been updated. There we go. 16, 20. That one looks right.
That looks right from what we've been tracking.
Here we have Dante deliberating, as you said.
Deliberate Dante, you gotta love it. All right, so here we go. 2 more resource points made.
Yep, card in hand. Still has that Invert Existence. Once again, lots of options here. Since a non-attack has been played, Nebula Blade. Ooh.
Here we go. Big
Command
attack
and
here. I think he
Conquer.
was trying to decide whether he wanted to commit to this or just do some of the other stuff with the resource points he's got. But this is a Command and Conquer, and this is going to force the Husk. I think that's what he was really thinking about there.
Huskable attack.
Oh, that's definitely a Huskable attack.
Yep.
I think that's like one of the ideal cards to block in all of the game with Husk.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just block it all out. Don't have to worry about your arsenal. You're all good. Feel safe.
So Dante is going to take a little bit of damage from Bloodted here, go down to 20. Sebastiano is at 16, so this game is still really close. This is a really good Banish so far.
Yeah,
That's
2 Seeds of Agony.
Yep. So he's got 2 cards that he can play from here, and he's got a couple cards in his hand plus an arsenal. So we're looking to have a big turn from Sebastiano here to kind of steal some of this tempo back.
Yeah, still a very close game. Coming in with 2 Seeds of Agony.
I did not catch what that was in the arsenal. We kind of got flashed by it for a second, but not sure. All right, we're going to Soul Shackle, so we're going to have go again on one of the next attacks, get some resources. So this attack is going to have go again.
Yep, got this Ghostly Visit and some Arcane damage coming in to back it up. Still 2 resources floating. Looks like the start of a pretty wide turn here. You can never count the Nebula Blade out, now that non-attack actions have been played.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens here, if Dante's going to take this damage or what we're going to have going on behind it. It does look like Dante took this damage.
Yeah, looks like he's at 14 here.
This game's getting really, really close.
It's getting quite tight, yeah.
And we've seen this. This is about where the games are going to find their end, is about Chane, 4 or 5, these cards. And so I think the first person after, once the 4th Rune Chant token has been made, anyone who starts to really miss from that point is at a severe disadvantage. That's where you see the game start to swing into the other person's favor.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to see those games where we get these Soul Shackles up to like 10
9
or something like that. Yeah, no.
No, they're here for a good time. They're not here for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And Dante checking his discard pile here. Perhaps for Unhallowed Rites. Definitely considering whether he wants to block any more this turn. Sebastiano still has go again on that Ghostly Visit. Gonna spend a resource.
And I saw this
double
Razor Reflex.
Double Razor
I actually
Reflex.
watched Sebastiano play earlier today against somebody, and when he Razor Reflex out of this deck, his opponent nearly shot out of their seat.
Oh, that's rough. Oh, double Razor.
This is a very aggressive build.
Yeah, you love to see it. Classic, absolutely classic Flesh and Blood card.
Dante down to 8, and here's the other crazy part of that. He thought he was going to be able to possibly keep his Husk around, And now he just loses his husk. That is huge.
Yeah, that's insane. That's like 6 life plus that he lost out on there.
And the husk is going to be in banish now, too. So that's a guaranteed blood debt that's going to be happening. So you see 4 cards here to the banish zone.
At this point, I think he's going to want to start clearing a little bit of that out. He can't afford to take all of this damage. He's at 8. He's at 8 already, and his opponent's still going to keep coming in with the heat. Both of them still have their Snapdragon Scalers, so there's the option for these really, really aggressive wide turns. We're going to start off with a Seeds of Agony.
Yeah, whenever you want to go that wide, you got to go fast, so you got to put your Nikes on.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Is this a Plunder Run? It looks like he's considering playing a Plunder Run from hand.
Yeah, maybe trying to spring together is a big, big turn, because if you're
yeah.
Dante here, you've got to be feeling like your back's against the wall after that last turn. You losing your husk for no value.
Losing the husk and taking a bunch from those Razor Reflexes.
Yeah. Looks like this is going to be a Plunder Run. All right, so we're going to be pitching a card for some resources here, so I think the attacks are going to start. And if you're Dante, you're going to have to threaten a lot of damage here because you need to start getting cards out of Sebastiano's hand because you cannot let him have as many resources as he wants going into his Chane 4 turn.
Yeah, those Seeds of Agony are going to deal 1 arcane damage, and it's going to give this attack go again, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like the arcane might have been taken here, and we're moving on to blocks. It looks like we've got a block with the grasp and a card from hand, so it looks like maybe possibly a full block here.
Yep, blocking it out. Definitely doesn't want him to get that draw from that Plunder Run. But this is going to have go again.
Yep.
Now we have a Chane activation to give the next attack go again. Pitching a Shadow of Ursa, coming in with a Nebula Blade for 4.
If this hits, it's going to create one of those Rune Blade tokens as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. You really, really want to diversify your damage here. Getting that arcane damage is so good.
And you can see, I think this is Dante setting up for next turn as well to try to finish the game because I don't think he wants the game going much longer the way this is going and where life totals are at. So he's going to try to survive this turn, hopefully get a good Soul Shackle turn, and be able to cobble together some lethal here because we're seeing Sebastiano go down to 10, and you're hoping that either there's a big miss or something gets put into the blood debt that you can't get rid of, and you take a little bit of damage there, and you're going to be able to win from that spot.
It looks like he's going through Sebastiano's, looking for targets for that Invert Existence.
Yep, you're going to get through a little more arcane damage here since there's no way for Sebastiano to block this. So you know that Rune Chain is a guaranteed 1.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So we're going to have a guaranteed couple here from Invert Existence as well. So we might be able to get Sebastiano pretty dang low here this turn.
Hopefully he can even it up here. So he's going to choose an Enlighten Strike and another attack action. It's not going to deal the damage. Not going to deal the arcane damage. Yeah, I think Sebastiano's feeling pretty good at this point.
Yep, just maybe had to get the blood debt card out of his bandage zone.
Yeah,
to make sure.
Definitely don't want to take that.
Okay, so far,
not the best. Not the best.
We do get a Seeds and a Rift Bind.
Seeds and Rift Bind can definitely help string together a pretty good turn.
Yeah. How many cards does Sebastiano have in his hand? Did he have? I think he has 3, right? He
yeah.
blocked with 1 card from hand here. Yeah.
Yep. 3 in hand, 1 in arsenal. Still has those Snapdragon Scalers. The potential for another really, really strong turn is here.
Yeah, so you might see the Seeds along with a few other spells and then maybe finish off with the Rift Bind here. But if he gets to be able to cobble together multiple attacks along with some of this arcane damage and then a big Rift Bind towards the end, this might be too much for Dante to be able to block. We'll have to see.
Definitely needs to deliberate what he's going to do here.
Oh, absolutely.
The string of events that's going to take place.
These are the turns where you really need to take your time and make sure you sequence everything correctly, play to all your outs, figure everything out here because you don't want to miss even a single point of damage
for sure. If I had to guess, there's probably not going to be that many more turns in this game.
I'm glad I'm in this seat, not that one, because I don't want that kind of pressure on me right now.
Be sweating bullets. And yeah,
I'm sweating watching this. This is good flesh and blood.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see. Does he want to lead with the cards from Banish Zone?
It looks like he does. This is the typical lead, right? You know, start off with Seeds, and we'll see what happens from here. I got to believe we're going to possibly see something from hand. I don't know. I can't get a read on Sebastiano if he's really thinking about what's the correct way to do or if he doesn't like his hand. It almost feels to me like maybe he doesn't like his hand because he doesn't think he can cobble together a lethal attack or enough of one here this turn. But it looks like we're going to make a move here.
Pitching a Shadow of Ursa.
Going to get some resource points here. Where are we spending them?
Oh,
looks like just start with a Nebula Blade.
With a Nebula Blade. that will be coming in for 4. Blocking for 3, and with the Arcanite Skull Cap.
Yeah, we have a lower life total than our opponent, so we can do this.
Yep.
Plus, this can stop a little bit of Arcane, right?
Oh, yeah. And you really do want to be able to block with that Arcanite Skull Cap now while you can, basically.
Also, I'm sneaking a peek into Dante's hand. I see an Enlightened Strike, so possibly a huge turn coming from Dante as well,
Yeah,
if he can survive through here.
I think there's an Enlightened Strike, a Command and Conquer, and maybe a Shadow of Ursa in his hand.
Yeah, but he's going to have to do some blocking here, I believe.
Yep, and this Riftbind's coming in.
Yeah.
Just getting a little +1, but you know, when the life totals are this low, every attack is a big threat, especially when you have this husk just sitting in your banner stone, draining you every turn.
Absolutely. You have to weigh all of your options here, you know, because taking it is dangerous, but it might be what wins you the game. If
Exactly.
you keep an extra card in your hand, have those extra resources or that extra points of damage, it might just be enough to get you through this. So he's having to weigh everything here. So you're going to see Dante be very deliberate here and try to figure out exactly what's going to go right. Again, not envious of his seat.
Oh,
I would not want to be there myself. I've talked about this. This might be one of the hardest parts of this game is blocking correctly in these kind of spots.
I 100% agree. Like, blocking is absolutely crucial, not just from preventing damage, but from, like you said, being able to crack back and apply enough pressure to get the win here.
I feel like I've had multiple games where I've lost where I've blocked, and I didn't lose because I blocked, but I blocked with the incorrect card.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, looks like he's going to block with that Enlightened Strike, possibly wanting to play the Command and Conquer.
Yeah,
really
some resources from Sebastiano, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not. Really, you know, assessing which one of these cards is going to be the most threatening for his opponent. Now considering blocking with the Grasp of the Arknight is a fresh Grasp of the Arknight, so yeah. I don't fault him for this block, you know, at all.
And here we are going to use the Snapdragon. So here we go. We're going to have another attack this turn. I don't think Dante wanted to see that. This is one of the worst case scenarios that this attack continues because you can see that how much he's incentivized to keep the cards in his hand and how much he's valuing them. And this is a command and conquer from the arsenal, and we're going to see a double block from Dante here, full block to make sure that he gets to keep his arsenal. He's going to have 1 card in hand. He's going to be milling 5 cards off the top of his deck.
Oh, no.
This could be the match-deciding turn here. Let's find out.
It's going to be very interesting to see how many Blood Debt cards he hits off of this.
Oh, no.
Oh, not a lot. Not 1?
Oh, no.
1 is just a Riftbind. Oh, no.
And this is so important.
You
Whoever
don't want to
wins
see
this
that.
gets to go into the finals.
You really don't want to see that.
All right, Seeds from Arsenal.
We have a Seeds, a
Soul
Shackle.
Pitch Ursa, and
you have
swing at the Riftbind.
You basically have to. You can't take that Blood Debt. So we have a Rune Chant, we have 1 arcane damage from the Seeds, and we have this Riftbind coming in for 4.
And if you're Sebastiano, I mean, there's a couple options here, right? Like you could block, but you need to figure out, do you need to block? Because if you could use all of the cards in your hand plus the 5 cards that are coming off,
oh yeah,
you could probably cobble together 5 damage here. So this is where he's in the spot that Dante was in last turn, where he has to figure out where I can block, how much I can block, or if I'm even needing to block. Because Dante, he's out of resources. There's nothing else that's happening this turn.
We got to keep in mind, Dante has that Carrion Husk in his Banner Stone, so he's effectively at 4. So you really have to think about, you know, can I get there?
Yeah, can I have 4 damage? Yeah, exactly.
It's this is going to be one of the most important turns of this game.
This is the most important block of Sebastiano's life.
Yeah, probably. Like he's gonna commit at least 1 card.
Yeah,
Lightning Strike.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of blocking and lightning strikes here. And so look, it looks like the Nebula Blade is going to be coming in here at the last couple points.
Yep, and it looks like Sebastiano was nodding as he saw the Nebula Blade come in.
Yeah, and he just took it. And if you're Dante, you can't love the fact that he took it there because that means he needs those cards in his hand. And the way this, like the body language that Sebastiano has here, I've got to believe he believes he has it here.
Yeah.
So, okay, so far,
not good.
Not good.
Not good at all. Oh,
is that a complete whiff?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, that's an 0 for 5 on Banish.
Does he have it in hand? Does he have it in
I think
hand?
that body language has changed.
Oh, that's rough. That is really rough. All right, I'm immediately going to slam down a card here. What are we going to start off with? Ooh, Plunder Run. All right. Plunder Run from hand. Doesn't get the buff, but does threaten an on-hit effect, and it's a non-attack action. Ooh, really, really nice one. We have Soul Reaping coming in. Let's see how Dante is going to react to this.
That Soul Reaping banishing a card here too, so he's going to have a resource
Yeah.
point as well added behind here. He's still got that card in Arsenal that's threatening as well.
Is the card that he banished, was that a Seeds of Agony, I
Yeah,
think?
it is a Seeds of Agony, I think.
Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice. So this one is coming in, threatening a draw effect on hit, threatening, you know, a Seeds of Agony follow-up. This is very, very scary to be looking at, especially if you're at 4 health.
Yeah, absolutely, because you got to be worried about, like you said, the arcane damage from that Seeds of Agony. You're looking at 6 damage. If you take any of it, a card is going to be drawn, so that could represent a ton of damage as well. This is a really, really scary turn.
I agree. This is an incredibly scary turn. Both players have almost exhausted all of their equipment, though Dante still has some Snapdragon Scalers, so you know he's got to be thinking, hey, how can I survive this and then come back for the win? My opponent is only at 3 health. They also have that Carrion Husk. They're effectively at 2. I have the options here.
I think he's looking just to survive with any cards in his hand. That's got to be what's going on here,
yeah.
because he already got goal number 1 this turn, which was the luckiest part of it, is getting the 0 for 5.
He's gonna looks like he's gonna do a defensive Art of War.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be plus and banish.
Yep, drawing up some cards.
Draw 2 cards. He banished it in Lightning Strike here.
Looks like he has, is that another Art of War in his hand?
I didn't catch it. I think I saw a Seeds of Agony and something else, so I'm not sure there.
Very interesting. If it's another Art of War in hand, that's very tricky because Art of War doesn't block. It's an instant. It has 0 block on it inherently. It makes it you know, puts him in a very tricky situation.
That would be very unlucky. That's one of the main reasons he's casting Art of War here, is he needs to find a card in his hand that actually has defensive value.
Yeah, exactly. And he's really hoping to draw those attack actions to block with, you know? Another just really absolutely crucial block here. If he can make it out alive with anything. Oh,
yep, this is the
second Art of War.
Yep, you were correct on this. And it looks like
he's just going to be digging.
Yeah, banishing the last card that does have Blood Debt, so this will give him a card to play next turn, and he's going to draw 2 cards here. Do these have enough defensive value? So it looks like we're going to be blocking with a Riftbind and the Grasp of Arcanite.
Yeah, the Riftbind does get a +2 to its defense because of these 2 Art of Wars. Immediately following that up with a Seeds of Agony and an Unhallowed Rites. That Seeds of Agony is going to deal some damage. It's going to deal some arcane damage. The real question is, you know, is it going to be enough?
Dante at 4 here is going to be blocking the Plunder Run.
Blocking the Plunder Run for only 2.
Dante, I think he's going to be going down to 1 here.
Yeah, very scary.
Draw off the Plunder Run. Is the Plunder Run going to be able to finish this off?
What is that last card?
Doesn't look like it. So Dante's at 1. This is his last turn
of
the game.
This is it.
There is a Husk in the Exile Zone.
Yeah, this is literally his last turn.
Yeah, this is his actual last turn, so he needs to get it done here. I don't know if he's going to be able to, though. Does he have any cards in his hand for resources?
He's pretty bare here.
And it looks like not having any cards in his hand for resources, and Dante is going to lose here. Sebastiano is going to be going on to the finals through our Chane Mirror. What a game between these two.
Very, very exciting.
And this is where you see the variance kind of come into play a little bit here. Not taking anything away. I think both these players played great, but Sebastian won even though he got an 0 for 5 on one of his banishes here. And Dante was, you know, a little unlucky early with some of his banishes as well. Like, I got whiplash from this game. I don't know about you, Red Zone.
Yeah, if you're Sebastiano and you see your opponent double defensive Art of War, you've got to feel really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's just digging for anything, and yeah, he was able to get there.
Yeah, that was a really, really deep last turn for Dante. You know, he's like sitting there and he's like, I have cards in my hand that don't have defense. It's really important that I defend. He was having to banish cards and do everything that he could to survive, drawing these extra cards, doing a ton of blocking as much as he possibly could, but it was just not enough. He couldn't keep a card in his hand for resources to play something on his last turn and get through that, but he was going to die to his Husk at the end as well. So we've got one of our finalists figured out here. We've got one more match here in the semifinals to figure out who's going to be playing for that trophy at the end of the day. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that final.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to The Calling, Las Vegas. I am Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue, and I'm here with, you guessed it, DM Armada. Really exciting top 8.
Fantastic top 8. That last semifinal game was incredible. And in fact, we're about to jump into the other semifinal game and see who makes it into the finals. We have Tyler with that just control out the crate, just wazoo. Control Prism deck.
Yep, all of the spectral shields.
And he is up against Zachary Burrell playing Chane, none other than Chane. And let's jump over to the Chane list, take a look at that list, and then let's just jump straight into the game. I think this game is already going on. It's in progress currently. It's the list that you've seen before, only one rip. You know, that normal kind of list we've seen. Maybe those Ninth Blades come into play here. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out right now.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see this.
We're at 36 to 34 currently. We're looking at Fate Foreseen currently blocking a Nebula Blade coming across for 4. You can see it's coming across for 4 because, of course, there is that Seeds played prior.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it's still pretty early on in the game here. Though, of note, 6 Soul Shackles on Chane.
Yeah, 6 Soul Shackles. We do have the Tunic all the way ticked up. He's showing that Seeds of Agony is going to trigger off of this Bounding Demigon. So it is going to send a Point of Arcane, but he could block that with the Tunic trigger.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do exactly that, blocking it with the Tunic trigger. And
slamming down a yellow Herald just to block out that damage from the Bounding Demigon.
Yep. And do you think as the Control Prism here, you just want to block as much as you can?
It's possible. I think, obviously, well, 1, you just don't want to take damage, but 2, you want to keep your Spectral Shields up because you can provide a lot of threats and a lot of tricks with those Spectral Shields up and in play, and oftentimes those can save you against something like a Nebula Blade for 4 threatening a Rune Chant.
I think I spy a Time Snap Potion.
Yeah, in play down there at the bottom from Zach. He is definitely holding on to that. Time Snap can be a very powerful. Ooh, look at this. A pitch of a snag. I wonder,
very interesting.
I wonder if that is trying to set up for a late game, but with 6 Soul Shackles already in play, I don't know how much late game the game will go, even though these life totals are huge.
Yeah.
We've seen Chane chip down life total leads so quickly once they get to 8, 9 Soul Shackles, a few turns away.
We have this Herald of Rebirth. Ooh. Really good answer to that Herald of Rebirth with the Command and Conquer there.
Coming in for 1. Actually, I don't know if he can come in for 1 here because he's only pitched a blue, which was very interesting. Looks like he's just going to Arsenal, actually, and into the turn. Drawing back up. It's interesting. There's not a lot of ways to pop Phantasms and Chane. So oftentimes as a Prism player, even in the control, you could just go, I think I'm just going to send a big old Herald at your face.
Yep. So didn't get a lot of playables here.
Well, that Eclipse, you definitely want to look at that Eclipse and keep that in mind.
We definitely need to keep that in mind for the rest of the game now.
It is not a Blood Debt card, but it can be played from Banished, and it can just close games out. We've seen that time and time again, this calling, and we could see it again in this game. We'll find out.
For sure. He did get a Shadow Verser and what looks like a Seeds of Agony, which is still, not too bad.
Yellow
even
Seeds
though he
and Blue Shadow, of course.
Yeah, more or less whiffed on about 3 of those cards. Still has some gas here. Card in Arsenal as well.
Yep.
I think Chane can string together a pretty decent turn here.
Always keep in mind the Time Snap Potion basically just acts as another set of Snapdragon Scalers.
Oh, for sure.
It's a very scary thing. If a Chane player can establish something like a Time Snap Potion, then they can set up those giant turns, but far earlier than when normally you would, except at this point, we are at 6 Soul Shackles again.
Yep. I mean, 6 is already a lot. And it looks like we're going to be in for one of those games where we're going to see quite a bit more than that.
Indeed. And it's strange because at this point, we've seen Tyler play so many times, but never against a Chane. And he's managed his life total very well. And I'm curious to see if Zach is just going to try to continue to pump up those Soul Shackles and really just put on a ton of pressure, and if he might end up decking out over the long term, or if he can just get there.
He looks like he's cranking up those Soul Shackles. He did make a Rune Chant off of his Grasp of the Arknight. Does still have a resource floating here. Does have Go again. And he's going to come in with the Meet and Greet.
An interesting choice. Did make a Soul Shackle, so this is already a guaranteed 2 damage with Go Again. He doesn't have to worry about the Rune Chant giving Go Again to Meet and Greet, wherein he could have.
Yeah.
But in this case, he doesn't have to worry about it at all because he's Soul Shackled onto that Meet and Greet blue.
Yep, and Meet and Greet does threaten an on-hit effect, which is, it's not nothing.
He feathered for a moment the Time Snap Potion, which is interesting because he doesn't necessarily need that. And
Yeah,
it's
let's
also
see.
looking like he's just going to take that too after taking the Rune Chant onto the Spectral Shield.
Yep, he's confirming that, yes, it's going to create a Rune Chant token.
He has a fine play here in Shadow Averser or into something like Seeds of Agony, but he's just going to choose to pass here. No need to try and just jam those out just to get him out. He can take a couple of Blood Debt, and it looks like that's exactly right, and set up for a far greater turn.
I think that's definitely a fair play here.
Yeah.
And definitely what you want to do against a controlled Prism. You really want to go as wide as possible.
Big or wide. And look, this is a great play. This is exactly what you want to do against the Chane player, is play this on your turn, force the Time Snap Potion to come into play in some way, shape, or form, and try to slow things down and gain health too.
Sigil of Solace, there you go.
Up to, is it up to 37 now? It is up to 37. Would you look at that?
Wow, I mean, Prism's doing a great job of keeping the aggression off of, keeping the aggression down.
That's true. I feel like he also, in that moment, could have also attacked with the Arclight Sentinel. I forgot if that actually happened. Oh, you know what? I think
I think he did attack with him.
Hence why he dropped to 30 there at the end. Banishing.
Decent spread.
Wow.
Really good spread. One
Yeah.
miss? Yeah.
Missing on the Enlightened Strike is a little bit sad, but you know what? You hit that many
That's a
Riptines
lot.
and Seeds and,
Yep.
and Howl from Beyonds, and you're about to have the turn we were just discussing a moment ago.
Yeah.
He is gonna have to deal with the Arclight Sentinel first, but as long as you can deal with that, you can get pretty crazy with those banished cards.
Fortunate that he has this Time Snap Potion just waiting for it.
That's exactly right.
How big of a turn do you think this is going to be? It looks to me like quite a big turn.
Well, it depends. There's some very, very cool things that could happen from Tyler and from the Prism player. If he somehow has a second Arclight Sentinel,
the second
in hand,
Arclight,
or if he has some other really interesting aura that comes into play and is very threatening on on his own turn, something like a Genesis, then it could incentivize the Chane player to go, maybe I do need to deal with that as well and sacrifice some damage. There's just ways to kind of muddy the waters as the Prism player that could be very intriguing and interesting going forward. We'll see.
do we know what card is in Tyler's arsenal?
No, he's been keeping his cards close to his chest, and we didn't see what he arsenaled. But it's always important to keep that card in mind, as well as I believe he just has a full set of 4 cards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just going to be a very exciting turn, I think, from Chane. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be an exciting turn. Just reading up that Arclight Sentinel, making sure he understands what's going on.
If he has enough blues in hand, he actually could make an Ursa this turn.
Yeah.
It would involve playing multiple Riftbinds. It would involve playing multiple of those Howl from Beyonds, but you kind of already want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, you can give Go Again to the Shadow Averser by banishing another card from hand. So there's a world that we could be living in, a reality that we could see play out, where a Shadow Averser hits the board on this turn.
Do you think that's what he's considering right now?
I don't know if that's what he's considering, but I do see a very real and distinct possibility that we could see that come to pass at this moment.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
As they continue to consider the possibilities here, it's very interesting to see how this is going to play out. You do, again, always have to first deal with the Arclight Sentinel. This is how you do it.
Yep, cracking that Time Snap Potion, getting an extra action point here. That extra action point is incredibly crucial to this turn.
It is the only way that you have a turn on this turn, because the first thing you have to deal with is the Arclight Sentinel that requires you to attack into it and has Spectra, which basically ends any Go Again possibilities, does not allow Go Again to resolve on a card. So without a second action point, your turn is just done.
Zachary is basically saying, I'm going to go in. If he's got the second Arclight, he's got the second Arclight.
Playing all 3 seeds, 1 from hand it looked like.
We have 3 non-attacks played so far. 2 of them from Banish Zone. So for in all intents and purposes for Eclipse, we have a good start. We have a good start here.
Most definitely.
Now, the real key thing is what is he going to follow this up with? Which card is he going to use to pop that Arclight?
I think using this Shadow Averser or trying to come in with Nebula Blade makes some sense. I think the Shadow is better because you don't have to pitch for it, and you want to save your resources for something like a Riftbind using the Soul Shackle to go again to the first one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even if you can't make that Ursa this turn, getting those huge Riftbind attacks is it's gonna be good. Gonna be fantastic.
Right, and so it's not only threatening these points of Arcane, which are very difficult to deal with, it's also threatening bigger Riftbinds, and they could be even bigger because we did watch the Banish come up with multiple Howl from Beyonds, which are so dangerous.
Yeah, oh yeah. So we're gonna see some sparks fly here.
Yep, and as the Prism player, I feel like in this moment, and really going forward, your goal is to just completely try to survive all of these turns back to back to back, because as you see, we're on Shackle 7. That deck is already very low.
Yeah.
This is the end game in a very real sense. There's that many cards in Banished, and they're probably not all getting out of Banished this turn, so things are going to snowball one way or the other for either of these players. So as Prism, you're basically like, I don't need to attack. I don't need to deal with anything. I just need to not die on this turn or on the next turn, and maybe, just maybe, I can actually outlast Chane's onslaught.
That is definitely saying something. Chane is not easy to outlast, like, at all.
A fourth Seeds of Agony.
He's got all the seeds.
From hand, not pitching it for resources, which tells me he's probably got enough resources in hand to be able to do this. It's also interesting. He could have done some...
A fifth one. A fifth Seeds of Agony. Oh, my. Oh, my.
It's a madhouse down there.
Oh.
He's
got a garden. Garden of Agony.
This is incredible. Just so you know, at home, like people at home, you can only have 9 of these in your deck, and 5 of them are on the board on the same turn. This is absurd.
There's only 4 not. All right, so here we have the Shadow Averser, like we talked about.
And interesting, he could have played the Shadow Averser and banished the Seeds and then played the Seeds after, but instead he's going to go, I'm going to just like threaten, I don't know, like 5 arcane damage you did. The second Arclight Sentinel. Oh my
you called
goodness.
it. You called it.
The second, and he does indeed make an Ursa the Soul Reaper. Maybe these weren't coming from hand. These had to have come from Banished, and we just couldn't see them off the bottom.
Yeah.
But look at this. The Ursa the Soul Reaper is active.
Wow.
And the first Arclight is destroyed.
Oh.
And now there's a
man.
second Arclight.
Keep in mind, everyone, Eclipse is an instant, so he can just play that, you know, right after that Arclight hit the table. So he's just like, yes, please, I'll take an Ursa the Soul Reaper. It's a very spicy looking Ursa at that.
This is by far the most absurd turn of Flesh and Blood I have ever seen in the history of the game. Now, granted, the game is about to have its 2-year anniversary, and we're ringing this in with a fantastic calling Las Vegas. But this is perhaps the most insane thing I've ever seen. This
is amazing. An absolutely amazing turn.
That's the turn. He takes 4 blood debt.
Yeah.
He doesn't attack with Ursa.
Yeah. Yeah, he just wanted to clear that card out of his blood debt,
Yeah,
so he
exactly.
didn't want to take too much damage.
This is...
The odds of that happening, by the way, are insane.
This is incredible.
Tyler had both Arclight Sentinels, and Zachary had 5 out of 9 of his Seeds of Agony. Like, that's insane.
Sorry, I am blown away by that turn, and I am so interested to see what comes next, because he draws up and then passes Ursa over there, because, you know, Ursa the Soul Reaper, not exactly a card that gets played every game, but if you can, you want to know how it works.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a scary card. Can be attacked, by the way. Can be destroyed.
It needs to be dealt 6 damage in 1 turn.
That's correct. That's correct. And by the way, it's going to pass back to Zach. He's going to banish 7 cards. I don't think there are too many turns left where he can banish, because even if he makes a Soul Shackle at this point, it's going to be what? Like this turn banishing 7, next turn banishing 8, and that's all she wrote for the deck, most likely.
Yeah, I agree. It is looking real slim down there.
All that being said, there are still 2 Howl from Beyonds
Yeah, 2 Howl from
and
Beyond.
2 not 2 Rip Through Reality, excuse me, 2 Rift Binds
Yep.
in Banished, which can provide just absurd amounts of damage.
Yeah, he still has his carry. He basically still has a full suite of equipment as well. He's only blocked with that skull cap once.
The Carrion Husk isn't going to come into play just about at all.
Oh, no,
And
no.
in fact, if anything, the Carrion Husk will only be destroyed if Blood Debt takes it from him.
Oh,
And
yeah,
at this point,
that's
that's
true.
basically where it is. None of these cards will be huskable going forward because honestly, that's not Tyler's game plan. At this point, Tyler's game plan is, I'm not going to let you kill me with that Ursa or any of these giant cards if I can stop it.
That,
Tyler,
just
feeling the love
sending
of
the
the
love.
Arclight Sentinel. This is a crazy game. Both players got to be having a blast and trying to figure out this puzzle.
And you gotta love to see a top 8 here at the Calling Las Vegas. Just these absolutely phenomenal plays.
This is the second semifinal match. Whoever wins this game is going to guarantee them $1,000
Yeah.
and possibly $1,200 and the opportunity to play for that first place $1,200 prize alongside of perhaps the most sought-after card in the entire game.
Yeah, the exquisite gold cold foil Fiendel Spring Tunic. Any Flesh and Blood player, that's top of their list. Gold cold foils are the absolute premium when it comes to cards in Flesh and Blood.
That card top of your list?
Oh, I mean, of course it is.
Top of your list?
Beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's a fantastic card, of course.
What about you?
Top of my list? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll go with top of my
Yeah.
list as well. There's not many cards that compete with it.
Yeah, it's like, "Well, would you like this gold cold foil tunic or something else?" I'm like, no. I'll take the tunic.
I will tick up that tunic to 1,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll forget my second tunic trigger on it, and we'll all have a good chuckle.
I can unfortunately relate to that.
So moving over, I'm assuming that we have a slight stoppage, but we'll be moving over to Zach's turn after the full draw from Tyler. He had to pitch 3 yellows to play the second Arclight because he played the first one on his own turn.
Yeah.
He had to pitch his rest of his hand, basically, to play the second one. And I would imagine now we're just waiting for the Soul Shackle trigger on the start of Zach's turn. Perhaps there's some sort of a stoppage of play just for a moment. But as we see, a couple of these are
Not great.
some very big misses.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even matter because, again, he's got a full grip of 4 plus all of these. It's just an embarrassment of riches.
Absolutely. Like Ursa combined with a nice suite of, a banished zone smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Got Shadow of Ursa. We have multiple Howls from Beyond, multiple Rift Binds, Seeds of Agony, Bounding Demagon. I mean, like, he's the world is his oyster at this point.
Yeah, it's very interesting, too, because as the Prism player, I feel like perhaps there are ways to deal with some of this, but I don't think we can ever deal with the Ursa.
Yeah,
And
it's going to be.
as Zach and as the Chane player, I think we understand that, and we try to make these attacks as giant as possible and then profit from the 6 free at the end of it all.
I mean, Tyler's still sitting pretty healthy at 36.
That's exactly right.
And, he just really wants to be at much health as possible. He's going to count the deck here.
Yeah, I would too.
It's looking really slim. Less than 10, I would guess.
Most likely got the next 4-card draw and the banish,
Yeah.
and that's about it. Because you have to assume that he's going to take up the Soul Shackle number to 8 this turn and try to wrap things up over the next 2 turns.
Oh, for
If
sure.
you don't have much banish, if any at all, on the 3rd turn. And yeah, you've got to basically turn on the clock and make it a 2-turn lethal and just try to get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Which Chane can do.
Oh,
he can definitely get there.
We've seen it. We have definitely seen it, especially with a live Ursa here,
There's the tick up to 8.
followed up by a Bounding Demagon.
Coming in for 4 plus 2. No, excuse me, coming in for 7
Yeah.
plus 1. Arcane. Uses the Tunic trigger to pay for the Arcane, and then you just have to deal with a casual 0 cost 7 attack
Yeah.
with Go Again off the Soul Shackle.
Like, regardless of what's in Zachary's hand, as Tyler, you see all of these threats, like, on board, right? You know this turn is going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, there's not going to be a non-rough turn in the rest of the game.
Yeah.
At this point, the only non-rough turn comes in the eventuality that you survive the next turn or two and then come in and, actually just win the game off of you attacking and them not having anything to block with.
Yeah. Ooh,
Blocking
defense
3+4 with the defense reaction, sink below from Arsenal for 7, sinking a card, drawing a card.
Very interesting.
He does block
He's been sitting on that sink below for quite a while here.
Well, this is when you need a defense reaction in your arsenal. And you need one now, and you need one next turn, or you need the third Arclight Sentinel. And we did come into this game definitely with some play having already been performed. So I'm not sure if the third Arclight Sentinel is actually in the discard pile already, or if it was pitched early, or we should check to see if they even is running 3. He is indeed running 3 Arclight Sentinels.
Who's following that up with a Shadow of Ursa.
Sure.
I mean, Tyler's still looking pretty healthy here. 36.
So he did end up, it looks like banished and unhallowed rights from hand to give the Shadow of Ursa go again. So this is 2 with go again.
Definitely threatening more attacks.
Trying to count if there are 3 cards left in hand or 2. Pitching here, and that's an unfortunate card to have to pitch, a red Ghostly Visit, because it only pitches for 1 resource, only pays for the Unhallowed Rights. By the way, he took the 2 damage exactly as you probably should. You don't care about. All of this is really just pure damage. There are no scary on-hit triggers unless he chooses to Nebula Blade.
Here we have just a, Seeds of Agony going to the bottom. It's not nothing. Blocking 3.
4 coming at him, blocking 3, dropping 1 point down to 33. This is an Arsenal and pass. Doesn't come in with the Ursa.
Now, as the Chane player here, you can't be too happy with that.
Taking 3 blood debt as well. And look, he's counting his cards. It looks like, there's only 1 to 2 turns of actual banishing going on. And, after that, this is important, actually. I have made this exact mistake, putting the wrong card on top or bottom based on how many cards you're going to banish or draw, and knowing how many will get banished if you put the right or the wrong card there. Look at this.
Oh.
He sends the 6 at the Ursa. He had cards in hand. He sends it at Ursa so that he can actually deal damage and
this
remove
is big.
the Ursa.
This is really big.
And you can't block damage for Ursa, so it just explodes.
Yeah, it's coming at you.
This is a huge turn.
Huge, absolutely key moment for Prism here.
And there's a question being asked right now, and I know exactly what question they're asking. They are wondering if Herald of Judgment hits Ursa, is that considered as Herald of Judgment hitting? And if it is, then this game just blew up, because Herald of Judgment is the exact counter to Chane.
It says that you cannot play cards from the banish zone, correct? If it lands a hit?
I believe that's the text.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. Absolutely huge deal. Not only does it basically cripple Chane's turn, it makes it so he's going to eat a ton of blood debt, almost have nothing to deal with here. It's rough. Like, I've said that before. I'll say it again. This is scary.
I am blown away.
This is a crazy game.
Honestly,
this is actually a crazy game.
Even if this doesn't actually trigger the on-hit effect, of which I am actually unsure about, even if this doesn't trigger the on-hit effect here, it still destroys what is oftentimes the literal. It did trigger.
It went into Soul.
That is considered a hit.
Wow.
And now Chane cannot play cards from Banished Zone on this turn.
Oh, no.
Which means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, just 4, 5, 6 cards in Banished, added to Banished that can't be removed from Banished.
And how many cards are left in deck? Not a lot. We're about to fatigue here.
2. This is literally the best possible timeline for a Control Prism player.
This is Prism fans have to be elated right now.
This is electric.
Yeah, yeah.
He might take enough blood debt damage in this moment to lose the Husk.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right? How many cards does he have down? We can see 6 right off the bat.
Moves up to 9 Soul Shackles, allowing him to play a card from hand or maybe from Arsenal, giving it go again. Maybe he's pitching a Howl from Beyond, a really unfortunate red hand, because he's pitching the Unhallowed Rites as well. Sinking a Seeds to the bottom, that does bring it to 3 cards in the deck, it looks like.
3 cards.
And just flashing down a free block of,
blocking it out.
of Celestial.
Why wouldn't you just block here? Yeah.
He can even make a Spectral Shield here.
Yeah, exactly. This is looking good. Looking good for Prism.
Absolutely unheard of.
This is a phenomenal game.
Another red. It was a 4 red hand.
But even if he had been able to play these cards,
he was still really stuck.
Yeah.
Oh my
blocking with a
goodness.
defense reaction.
It just continues. He's like, yeah, no favors. I'll opt. I'll leave that one on top. How about I leave that on top? And then I still have cards in hand because I can actually do stuff on my turn. And you're going to take how much blood debt? Just a casual sum. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going to make a Spectral.
Yeah, I'll just make it. I'll make a token here.
Unheard of.
Oh my. Oh my. He's like, I'll just draw the last couple cards in my deck.
I believe there's one card left in deck.
One card.
Those will sink. He's got cards in hand. Take up the Tunic to 2.
Yep.
He can play an attack here. He's at 14, so the Husk is up, which means he could actually gain value. Oh, he's gonna throw the Husk.
You gotta
throw the Husk at the Spectral Shield. Arsenal pass.
Oh. Have you ever seen a Carrion Husk block a Spectral Shield token?
Okay, this is it. I mean, it's literally down to this. He banishes the last card. There are so many cards in Banished, and he only has 4 cards in hand, 1 card in Arsenal, to try to get to 33.
Losing that Ursa was, I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words.
Ursa being destroyed by Herald of Judgment is the most pivotal play so far.
It's like such a flavor win, too.
In the calling Las Vegas.
It's so cool. As a fan of Flesh and Blood, I'm so stoked. This is such a fantastic game.
Playing a red seed, playing a yellow seeds.
Them seeds out there. We're making our seed garden again.
At this point, again, as the Prism player, you're just saying, just avoid 33. Just avoid 33.
Yep. You just gotta outlast this.
Avoid 34, and you still have a block on your Arcanite Skullcap for 1, and you can throw the Tunic at whatever they throw at you.
Yeah, just sitting with a full suite of equipment, basically. This is it looks like he's just counting up the cards in his banish zone, seeing if he can get there.
Well, he can sequence this in such a way where he can send multiple.
The
blue snag.
Oh, snag. Oh man, that's rough.
That's one of those moments. I am standing on my feet. This is insane.
This match is absurd. This match is so absurd.
A blue snag. He's deciding to pitch something to block. Oh, he's pitching to block the Arcane.
Prevent the Arcane
blocks,
and then block it out.
Blocks the attack out, of course, which doesn't gain any buffs because of the snag.
This has everything. Oh.
Has all of the answers.
He does. Even with Chane presenting such a, momentous amount of pressure and threat, Prism's like, nah, I got this. Back-to-back Arc-like Sentinels. We had that Herald. We have this snag. Absolutely amazing Prism play.
And at this point, it doesn't matter what comes out. This game is closed.
Yeah, what can Chane do?
He could still play these Rift Binds. He could wait and maybe take a bunch of damage on these Blood Debt cards, but it's literally to the point where all of those Rift Binds are just their vanilla stats.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's only got the cards that he has in hand currently.
He's like, no, I'm just going to block.
He is going to play a Ghostly Visit. He is going to Snapdragon Scalers that Ghostly Visit. By the way, there's another Herald of Judgment here, just casually.
Yeah, it's just here. I got it. Oh, man.
Taking 1, blocking 3. And after having to use the what is he? He's creating. Okay, he's creating a rune chant.
Creating a rune chant token. Very interesting.
After having to use the Snapdragon Scalers, he does. He does only allows himself to basically attack 1 more time. He will get these 3 cards back into his hand. This is coming across for 2 and a rune chant.
And he does get the effect on the Unhallowed Rites.
It's true. So he will have a 4-card hand.
He's not technically out of this. He's still in this. And it looks like he's just gonna stay in as much as he can.
Yeah, that's the right choice. Pitching or grabbing a blue seeds, because at this point your hand is comprised of yellow seeds, blue seeds, 9th Blade of the Blood Oath, and Ghostly Visit. Those are the 4 cards that you will have for the rest of the game to try and pay for your banished zone, but nothing else is coming into banished. Nothing else is going to be threatening. At this point, he's basically just going to run into the issue where it's just Nebula Blade for 1.
Yeah, it's going to be Nebula Blade for 1. Prism with a pretty healthy deck.
Down to 8 because of Blood Debt. Draws
Ouch.
his 4 cards. You know what? Scratch that. It looks like he had a card in hand at the end, so he will banish perhaps a Yellow Seeds, perhaps. I don't know what he put there.
It did look like a
Yellow
seed.
Seeds. That's the right choice.
He's like, all right, I gotta play these seeds.
This is it. I mean,
Yeah.
you use the blue seeds to pay for, try to make the biggest Rift Bind you can and hope he doesn't have another snag.
Yeah. I mean, Prism's sitting at 30 health, too.
11 Soul Shackles. It's literally the
Oh, no.
I
Another
can't.
snag.
I don't understand.
This is what it feels like to have everything.
I literally don't understand. Now, I do want to point this out. The Howl from Beyond is still providing the buff on Riftbind, but Riftbind won't get a buff from itself. That is how Snag works, but still.
Very, very good point.
He just double blocks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you here? You just need to keep your life total up. It's very comfortable 30. Yeah, this is what a match.
What a turn of events.
Send that rune chant.
Riftbind, yellow, sink below,
Sink
takes
below.
the rune chant.
Oh, no.
The hand is going to be 3 cards deep.
Yep, he knows it.
Takes several more blood debt. And honestly, at this point, we're going to see, down to 5, we're going to see Prism be able to actually play a Herald.
Yeah.
And actually apply pressure and may just get the killing blow.
He's basically outlasted Chane now. He just needs to get some attacks in and finish this off.
This is incredible. He's playing down the Howl from
Oh,
Beyond.
Oh, Arclight Sentinel. Well, there's the 3rd one.
He flashed the Arclight Sentinel, and I'm sure he just smiles.
Yeah, he's just like, I got it.
Secure in the fact that no matter what happens here, he is going to waltz into the finals, securing himself one of those top 2 spots in the Calling Las Vegas as a Control Prism player.
Oh, it's amazing.
People were down on Prism. People were saying, why is Prism being played? It's not converting Road to Nationals.
I think
it's just a pet deck. People just like it because it's easy to play. This put everything on notice. This is huge.
I think this may just change a few minds out there. Yeah, I'll block it.
And it's not just this. It's not just this result. This is consistent top-level play.
Oh, yeah.
He's had 1 loss over 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, this is the showcase of the power of Control Prism. Yeah.
Coming in, pitching there.
Yeah, I mean, very comfortable just blocking it out.
By the way, I love that he's kept. Ooh, look at this. That's fun. A +1, I would imagine, being used off the Art of War.
Yeah. Just trying to do as much as he can here.
I love that these impenetrable beliefs most likely have been set up towards the end of the game here so that they can be used basically for 4-block, not defense reactions, but just cards to defend with.
Really solid 4-block cards. That's going to be the end of Prism's turn.
Pick up the Tunic to 3.
Or rather here we go. And
draw your cards.
Yep.
And it's down to, look at this. Carrion Husk in Banished. He's got 2 turns.
2.
Nebula for 1. Oh, he made a Rune Chant coming across. Nebula for 1 with a Rune Chant perhaps. Pitches, blocks 1. Pitches, blocks the other. Nope, he's just going to throw out the Phantasmal Footsteps.
What can you do as Chane here? You're just going to die to your own Carrion Husk.
He will die to his own Carrion Husk next turn. Those go to the bottom of his deck. By the way, his deck has 2 cards, so those cards get drawn.
Yep.
And oh no, he is able to pop the Herald of Judgment.
You know what? I'm gonna pop your Phantasm here.
In spite.
Yep.
Using the Tecton card that does pop Phantasms.
The 9th Blade Spite.
He's coming in for 1 after he's soul shackled to
like,
12 soul shackles.
I'll just block my boots.
Blocks with the boots, takes 1.
And that is game.
What an absolute barn burner of a game.
Prism going into the finals. Who would have called it? Control Prism in the finals of the Calling Las Vegas.
I can't even believe the finish. That I am out of breath.
Oh, man.
I am emotionally spent by that many high rolls.
It was amazing.
And yet not only was it all high, it was also just perfectly executed.
Yeah, exactly. That is like masterful, absolutely masterful Prism play.
I need a break.
I
need a break.
Need to take
so
a breather
that we
here.
can stop for a moment and prepare ourselves for the finals of the Calling Las Vegas. So we're going to take a break. We're going to prepare, and we're going to jump into the last match, the finals. So the winner takes all the prizes. Let's go ahead and jump to break.